To be here is really an honor for me. So thank you so much for inviting me. Okay, so I do want to talk about obviously how I manage my type 1 diabetes, and I want to emphasize my diabetes because it is mine and mine alone. And that is just an important message. I just wanted to focus on the word my, because I don't know if you remember, Troy, you were there, but Brian, you may have been there too in Boca just a few months ago in January. Dr. Ian Lake did 2 presentations. So right at the beginning of one of his presentations, he had a screen and he gave the number, I think the global number of type 1 diabetics, and it was like several millions. He said there are this many millions of type 1s around the world, and there are millions of ways of managing type 1 diabetes. And I thought, I could have stood up. No one else was as passionate hearing that message, but I could have stood up and just clapped for hours for just that simple sentence, because this is what it comes down to. I think in the last few years, we're definitely hearing, more and more people say, yes, but everything is down to your microbiome. So, if carnivore works for you, it's fine. But if you want to eat a plant here and there, that's fine too. People are realizing that perhaps we don't all need to be to breathe the same sort of amount of oxygen and to go to the bathroom same number of times, and eat exactly the same macros and live exactly the same life around the world. So but I think I want that to also translate into type 1 diabetes, because the way I manage my type 1 diabetes, I coach people. A lot of my clients are type 1s. They all do what works for them, and they all do what suits them best. And more importantly, they all do what they can, or the best that they can, given the tools they have. Some don't have CGMs. How am I going to tell that person, hey, go on an extended fast? Like, are you serious? I don't want to take that risk. I can't do it. Some don't have unlimited access to even the glucose, the finger prick testing, right? So they get given, I don't know, 30 for the month. How can I tell that person, you must measure pre-meal, after meal, 1 hour, 2 hours? He'll run out of test strips. And so there are different ways of managing it. So I think, I really hope that within the type 1 community, eventually we can have more unity than division, and we can have more compassion than judgment and criticism. And we can just understand that people genuinely do want to do the best that they can, given their circumstances and given the tools that they can access.
Yeah, I think that's so important, not only for the type 1, but low carb, keto, carnivore, whatever. I see these fights going on. It's like that's not good for your stress hormones and insulin and cortisol and all these other things. And so people get so worked up. And I just commented on that today. Like, some people that we've worked with that have done so well, and then they post something about their success, and people go, "You're doing it the wrong way. You're not doing it right." It's like it's working for them. Leave them alone, right? But we can get so purist sometimes, and you realize, and that's kind of what my talk was at the San Diego Metabolic Health Conference was, look, some people don't have access to grass-fed beef, or they can't do certain things based on where they live, and they don't have access. So we have to say, what is the best case scenario in that situation?
Yeah, I think, we have to be less dogmatic and, more compassionate. That's what drives me. I mean, every day that I meet someone who's not paying me because they're not capable, because if they pay me, they won't be able to buy their insulin for their type 1 teenage son, for example, or they won't be able to buy the eggs that I'm just recommending. You must eat animal proteins. And of course, they can't afford meat, but they can afford eggs. But if they pay me, they won't be able to buy their family eggs. So every day I work with people who totally humble me, makes my work worthwhile for me. It's what drives me.